welcome to part 2 of putting it all together. Now, let's get right back into where we were far. And since I'm switching to pink, of course we're going to choose pink. Here is where I will teach you the 2 different methods of color change. Let me put this in a more easily accessible area. There is the traditional method where you would finish to the last step of your row or round, and you would get it ready like so. And instead of yarning over with the old yarn, you would yarn over with your new yarn, which in this case would be pink. And then you would pull through like so. And then you would move your tail out of the way. Make sure your new tail would be here, and your working yarn, your old working yarn, you would simply cut and then knot these two together, but do not cut the ends. Like so. And then you would just sew those in like you would the tails at the end of your project. However, I'm not particularly fond of the traditional method because it leaves knots. And even though you might be able to hide the tails, you can't really hide those knots. So here is where we will show you how to do the Russian join method. And you're gonna think I'm a little bit crazy for this, but I'm gonna undo the whole thing. And I'm still gonna be able to use every last bit of yarn. How? Well, I'll show you. So first I'm just going to frog it, which the reason why we call it frog it is because you rip it, rip it, rip it. That doesn't want to come undone. Nothing a little brute force won't fix. To do the Russian join, you are going to need your upholstery needle and your needle threader. I will be demonstrating the Russian join with the yellow that we were just working with and the blue, even though we are switching to pink. I feel like these two colors are a little bit more contrasting and we'll be able to see this better. I did do that Russian join off camera. This is what it will look like, and this is how strong it is. Even my brute force can't rip this apart. So, in order to do the Russian yarn, you're going to take your old yarn or your working yarn and thread it through the eye of the needle, like so. Then you are going to leave as little tail as possible without it slipping out of the hook or the needle. Then you're going to flip up. You can pinch that against the needle if you need. And you're just going to stab the yarn. Make sure that your needle is through at least one ply of the yarn. And then just do a running stitch up the very center of that yarn or as close to as possible. Now, you can do whatever you like, whether it's the traditional method or the Russian join. I like the Russian join because I feel that it blends in seamlessly. Now, you want to go further up the yarn than you'd think because your tail is honestly the length of your needle. So pile it up on there as much as you can because you want that tail completely hidden. Then when your needle looks like this, you're going to, with these two fingers, you're going to pinch the needle, and with these two fingers, you're going to pinch the yarn, and you're going to pinch this way and pull that way. And you're just going to pull that yarn right through the middle. Now you're going to take these two fingers and pinch the top up here, and you're going to take these two fingers and you're just going to smooth the yarn over itself. A little more adjusting, and this is what it should look like at the end. Now we're only halfway done. In the Russian join, there should be a little loop. You want to stick your needle back through that loop, and you're going to take your needle threader and thread it through. Now we are taking our secondary color, which I said would be blue, and we are just going to repeat that process. We pull it through the yellow. We get our tail as little as possible. Make sure that the yellow is also as little as possible. And oops, easy fix. Right. Here we go. Now we have our tail and our yellow as far down as we possibly can without it falling off. I'm going to pinch it up against my needle. I'm going to unravel the yarn because we don't want a knot. The whole point of the Russian join is no knots. Poke it through the yarn and just continue up. And it is okay if you don't get every single ply or every single little bit of yarn on your needle, because all this is doing is mixing the fibers in on itself to where basically the bond is unbreakable. It's a lot more secure than a knot because knots can come undone, especially if washed a lot or pulled on a lot. Now, to say that the Russian join is completely unbreakable would be a lie, but it will not come undone nearly as easily as a knot would, and it feels smoother. So again, just pile up all that yarn, and then you're going to pinch with these fingers and pull with these fingers. So pinch and pull. And now, I hope I did this. Now you're just going to kind of bunch it up towards where it's met right there, and then smooth it out. And that is what it looks like with two colors. Now that we've learned the magic of the magic circle and the unbreakable bond of the Russian join, as well as their easier counterparts of the chain 3 circle and the traditional method with knots of changing color, let's get back to where we were. Back to where we were. Let's follow along. Round 3. Join yarn in any chain 1 space, which we did, chain 3 and 3 double crochet in same space. This is your space. So we're going to chain 3 first with my Russian joined yarn. 1, 2, and 3. We're going to turn and we're going to follow those instructions. 3 double crochets. Now that we've done 3 double crochets in that chain 1 space and chained 1 after our last double crochet, we are going to do 4 double crochets in the next chain 1 space. So 1, 1, 2, 3, and 4. We have done our 4 double crochets, and I went ahead and chained 1 off screen. And let's just go ahead and continue this around till our marker. We're back at the top of our row or round, and I'm just going to do a little slip stitch and do a Russian join and change to my blue. We are now on round 4. And we have joined our yarn in our chain 1 space, and now it is time to chain 3. 1, 2, and 3. Don't forget to turn. And now we are going to 5 double crochet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and a chain 1, and then we're going to go to the next chain 1 space, and we're going to do 6 double crochets in there. Three, 4, 5, and 6 with the chain 1, and I will meet you at the end of round